Hey, what's up, everybody? So coming to you today, I'm gonna start doing some of my 2020 boxing awards. Now, I'd like you to check them out with my boy Von Blue Boxing and my boy Ray Riz on our Standing 8 Count podcast. I'm gonna be releasing those on there first. I'm giving that podcast first priority, and I've already done a few on there. So I'm gonna go and do the ones that I did. But as I do more on the podcast, like I'll be doing more on Sunday night of this week. I'll be doing the videos on here after the fact. But show that podcast some love. I post it right here on my channel. So show it some love. We're gonna shorten the videos up. I know they've been a little long, but we got some good content on there, really good content. But end of the year, I do a lot of my boxing awards and top 10. So this one, we're going to kick it off with the most controversial fights of 2020. The top 5 most controversial fights of 2020. Normally, I break it down by division, but, COVID really had everything messed up this year. A lot of guys only fought once or not at all, so there wasn't a lot of candidates for every award. So for all my awards, I'm just going to do 5-1. So these are the most controversial fights. Kind of a breakdown is it doesn't have to be a robbery. It could be a blowout, it scored a blowout when the fight really should have been close. It could just end by, funny circumstances. And that's what we're going to kick it off with. So number 5, the 5th most controversial fight of 2020 for me it took place at 115 or 118. I can't remember which one exactly, but it was Joshua Franco and one of the Maloney brothers. They fought in a rematch for the world title, the WBA title. And the first fight Franco won earlier, I believe it was earlier this year or last year. He won by a close decision. So going into the rematch, Maloney wanted to get him back. And Maloney, it only lasted until the second round. Maloney was putting it on Franco, and then a cut came up on Franco, and he was bleeding really bad. They checked the cut out. They had to stop the fight. Now the referee scored the cut from a headbutt, and the rule is if you haven't finished 4 rounds, if an accidental foul ends the fight, then the fight ends in a no contest. Well, they even went back and looked at the replay and saw that a punch is what caused the cut, but because replay is not allowed to help determine a fight, they had to go with the referee's original decision of it being a headbutt, and the fight was ruled a no contest, which sucks for Maloney because he landed a punch. That technically would be a technical knockout if a punch caused the fight to stop the fight. Caused the fighter to have the fight stop because he could not continue, and the referee or the ring doctor determined he could not continue. So, it was a tough break for Maloney, but Maloney's gonna get some redemption. The WBA has already ordered a 3rd fight between the two, and that fight should be coming hopefully in the first quarter. But if they got if that cut needs time to heal, I'd say it still happens before June, before half the year is over. It's going to happen in the first half of the year for sure. So he'll get a chance to redeem himself. Number 4, the 4th most controversial fight of the year is Daniel Rahman versus Juan Payano when they competed in a super bantamweight fight. That's 122. That was on the Charlo Twins pay-per-view card that took place in September. Rahman was coming in a big favorite. He had lost his unified world titles to Murajan Akhmadayev by a close split decision at the end of January. And he was coming into this fight against Payano, who's a former champ at 118, but had gotten destroyed against the monster, Noeo Inoue, last year. And, most people thought that, Rahman was going to win this fight easily. I personally did. It was his first fight on DAZN. On the PBC, because he had been fighting on DAZN previously. So, he was trying to make an impression, but I really believe he was overlooking Payano because, I really thought that I didn't score the fight myself, but I kept going back and forth. We had a party going on at my house, and I kept going looking at the fight, and from what I saw, Payano was controlling the action and looked like he was winning the fight. When they went to the scorecards, I was very surprised when the score came back in favor of Daniel Rahman by a unanimous decision. So I think all 4 judges had it like 8 rounds to 4 too, something on that level. I thought that was crazy. I really thought Payano deserved to win the fight, and Rahman escaped with a decision win. Payano already went back out and lost, so he's not going to get an opportunity to avenge this. And Daniel Rahman's moving in another direction. So tough loss and tough break for Payano in a fight that he really deserved to win. Okay, the third most controversial fight of 2020 for me was George Kambosos' 12-round split decision over Lee Selby of the United Kingdom. Excuse me. So heading into this fight, I think Selby was a slight favorite, but that was only because of his experience and the fact that he was a champion at 126 before. But moving up 2 weight classes, not having a big power punching, not being a big power puncher, I knew it was going to be a decent action fight, and it really was. They're going back and forth, but Kambosos, I know, scored a knockdown, but later, when the fight went to a decision, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought that Selby did enough to win the fight, but when they went to the scorecards, Kambosos came back with a split decision and became the IBF's mandatory #1 contender with this win. Tough break for Selby because, again, from what I saw, Kambosos was landing the harder shots, but Selby was controlling the action, in my opinion. He was dictating the pace, and I felt like Selby did more and should have got the decision, but it went over to Kambosos, and it really, you could have called it either way, but I thought it was a little controversial because I thought Selby won the fight. But adding to the controversy is what the reward is, and that's the fact that Kambosos is going to be fighting Teofimo Lopez next, for the undisputed championship at 120, at 135, at lightweight. So, it's that's a tough break. That really makes it more controversial for Lee Selby. That's a tough break for him. But, we'll see how he bounces back from it. The number 2 most controversial fight of the year for me was Daniel Jacobs' 12-round split decision over Gabriel Rosado. This was a very dull, boring fight. Jacobs just never really opened up. They were kind of picking and poking at each other. Rosado, seemed to be as the blood and guts warrior. He decided to try to box Daniel Jacobs, and it worked for him because Jacobs really didn't do much and couldn't figure it out, and really Jacobs didn't seem that into it. But it really ended up being a kind of a dull fight. But when it went to the scorecards, it really was a fight that could have went either way, and I think a lot of people were expecting maybe Gabriel Rosado to get the nod. They weren't going to be surprised after how close the fight was. And it came back in favor of Daniel Jacobs. Rosado was really upset. There was, like I said, there was a lot of people that thought he did enough to win, even though it was a dull fight. But Jacobs got the win. He got out of there, and keeps moving up the chain at 168. So we'll see what happens. But that was my number 2 one, and then number 1 by far was most controversial fight of the year was Teofimo Lopez's 12-round unanimous decision over Vasily Lomachenko. I didn't like the decision. I didn't have a problem with Lopez winning the fight. I really didn't. But it was very close. 2 judges, just had it so wrong. One judge had it 9 rounds to 3. And the other judge, Harold Letterman's daughter, I believe, Julie Letterman, had the fight 119 to 109. That's 11 rounds to 1. This was a good, close fight, tough fight. For sure, Lopez won, of the first 7 rounds, he won 6 of them for sure. He won 5 of them for sure. No doubt on that one. The 2nd and the 7th round are kind of up in the air. I personally gave him to Lomachenko, which is why I had to fight a draw, because Lomachenko absolutely won 8 through 11, but Lopez won round 12. So, a lot of the rounds are pretty clear cut, so that's why I wasn't too happy with the scoring on this one, because it was pretty clear cut, and there was really only 2 close rounds that were kind of swing rounds. So you know, at the very, very best, you could have scored it 8 rounds to 4 for Lopez, but I don't even think it was that wide. I really thought, I think 7-5 at best, but I had it a draw, and the fact that you know, 2 judges, one judge gave him 9 rounds to 3, the other judge 11 rounds to 1. I think the third judge had it right at 7-5, but yeah, just what a bad decision this was right here. Again, I'm not saying Lomachenko won. I personally had it a draw. I just think it was closer than what they scored it. And the controversy there is that, you know, not just that Lomachenko lost his title, but, you know, Lopez might use that as a ploy to not get back in the ring with him, because he's going to say, well, the judges said I won clear. And it really didn't. It was a very close fight. It was a good fight. And they absolutely should have a rematch. And, you know, he became the undisputed champion and scored a major upset with this win. So, you know, that definitely adds to the controversy. So, that's the 2020 most controversial fight of the year for me with True Boxing. You know, that's it. So, it really wasn't even close for me. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's my 2020 Boxing Awards, True Boxing Awards. And, you know, we'll come back with some more tomorrow. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.